Namaste, my friends. Welcome to Jack Colley's Black Book. This is episode number 22. And I think today, we're going to round out our talking of violence, or I'm sure it's going to come up again, but we're going to at least round out page 2 of my Black Book here. So we're going to finish up page 2 with this. In psychotherapy, when a client comes to me and when I'm working with students who will eventually be working in the medical field or be working as therapists themselves, one of the things we talk about is the importance of the relationship, of establishing that relationship. It's why when I have a new client, I take the first 2 or 3 sessions just to listen and get to know the client's story, just to show them that I'm interested, ask questions, really to understand where they're at. And then at some point, it is often valuable to introduce some sort of a working, like a framework or a metaphor by which to work on their situation and in hopes of bringing healing. And the metaphor that I like to use is the metaphor of a house. And so houses come up in dreams. They come up, figuratively, metaphorically. You can use a house to illustrate your life. And that's kind of the approach I take. And so what I say to my clients after I've established a relationship with them enough that I can feel like I can present the first kind of hard truth about their situation, about their reality, is I say to them, I have a little graphic here that I use with my students that I'll show you. I say to them, it sounds like it's almost like somebody came in and took a shit in your living room. And I like to, for dramatic effect, I don't know. I like the idea that I'm being a little bit vulgar. I like the idea that they're going to remember this discussion. And like I said, we have an established relationship, so this is not something I would just dive in with. But I start with that and I let them think about that. And most of the time that's going to lead to, what do you mean? And I'll just explain, well, if somebody came into your life and just took a shit and then left, and then I'll say, that's one of the most unfair things about living and being human, is that sometimes people come into our lives and things happen to us and we have no idea. We can't wrap our minds around, why would anybody want to come into my living room and just take a shit and then leave? And slowly, the client begins to understand that what I'm, kind of saying through this is, you may never understand why somebody did what they did. And you may have to, in your healing, accept that you will never understand that. So it kind of establishes this nice working metaphor. But here's where I like to take it to the next step. I like to take the metaphor to the next step and say, now you've got shit in your living room. And what's happening is every day you wake up, you're thinking of what happened to you. You're thinking about this event. You're thinking about this person. Every day you wake up in your bedroom. Here's the bedroom right here. And the first thing that comes to your mind is what happened to you. And I liken that to, you are smelling the shit in your living room. And we kind of unpack that, to a certain extent. Usually people pick up on what I am saying. And then we take it to the next step. We say, there are things that you can hope for. You can seek revenge. Maybe you can go into that person's life and take a shit in their living room. You can seek justice. You can just let the shit sit in your living room and just let it fester and do whatever it does while, things are being investigated or whatever, and you're waiting for justice. You can leave it in your living room while you fantasize about how to get your revenge or how to do harm, to harm the individual in the same way that they harmed you. And what I'll say is, at some point, though, as unfair as it is, you are going to have to be the one to clean up the shit in your living room, even though it was not your fault. You did nothing to ask for this, but it is still your responsibility to clean up the mess. I find it to be kind of a sobering metaphor to use, because that's what happens to us when we experience something that we didn't ask for, whether it's a trauma or whether somebody does something to us and we didn't ask for it. And a lot of times we do. We talk to people. Can you help me make sense of this? We draw people in and tell them our story. And if they're good friends, they will, they'll sympathize with you. But if they're better friends, they're going to say, you're talking about this a lot and I want to help. What can we do? What can we actually do to help you heal? How can I help you take care of the shit in your living room? So that is the metaphor I just want to present, because I think it's a good working metaphor. And if you have experienced a trauma, if you've experienced violence, if you have a friend or a loved one who has experienced this, and you have enough of a relationship that you might be able to use this metaphor to help encourage them to take the next step to kind of clean it up, the idea would be this. The idea would be that the individual would say, yeah, I really do have to take responsibility for my own life, because I don't want to continue living in the way that I am living, with the memory and the residual effect of, this traumatic experience that I had. And then maybe this would be a great time for this person who is introducing this metaphor to say, you don't have to clean up your living room on your own. Like, there are options, and I might be one of those options as your friend, as your family member. I might be one of those options. I am willing to clean up your living room, help you clean up your living room with you. And again, this is where we start bringing in these resources, because our first goal, our first step, is to clean up our living room and slowly get our lives rebuilt. So, my friends, if somebody shit in your living room, there's some very sobering news, and that is, it's very unlikely that anybody is going to come in and take responsibility for the mess they made. It's very unlikely that you're going to wake up tomorrow and the shit is just going to magically have disappeared. We all know that that's a hard reality, that sometimes things happen to us as human beings in the human experience that we don't have any control over. But here's the good news. The good news is you have friends. You have individuals, I hope, that you can reach out to. And if you don't, maybe this is a good first step. Who can you bring in next to you? Who can you say, will you walk by my side as I clean up my living room? Other things, again, I just want to keep reiterating the importance of faith communities. It's irrelevant to me. It really is what religion you are. But I do know that there is a lot of strength to be found in faith communities, whether it is a church, a mosque, a temple, whether it's nature. There is a lot of strength to be had in some sort of community where you take care of each other. Draw those resources near you. And don't forget too, there are individuals who are experts in helping you find help as you rebuild your life. Find a good therapist if you would like somebody to share what's going on in your mind and get some help. Social workers are excellent. If you find yourself in a situation without a home, without shelter, or you have children that you need help with getting basic needs met, social workers are really the experts in helping you navigate the different systems and the different resources available to you. So there you go. That is just a metaphor that I wanted to share with you. And tomorrow, I think next time we connect in virtual world, I think we will be ready to start page 3 of Jack Colley's Black Book. Namaste, my friends.